Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 4. I am Uyai and Nia can come to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Bola Tinubu decorates service chiefs with new ranks. Senate confers to 4. We'll bring you details of the stories and more in a moment. Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. First in the news this afternoon is Nigeria's leader, President Bola Tinubu, who has decorated the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Christopher Musa, and the service chiefs with their new ranks. The service chiefs decorated includes Major General Tawhid Lakwaja, Chief of Army Staff, Rear Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, Chief of Naval Staff, and Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar, Chief of Air Staff. Recall that President Tinubu appointed the new set of military security chiefs on June 19, 2023, ending the tenure of those appointed by his predecessor, former President Muhammadu Buhari. Meanwhile, President Tinubu will be making a live broadcast this today in a test statement. According to him, the broadcast will occur by 7 p.m. The statement enjoined all television, radio stations, and other electronic media outlets to hook up to the network services for the broadcast. From the Red Chambers now, where the Senate has commenced the screening of the first batch of ministerial nominees forwarded by President Bola Tinubu. The screening commenced at the upper chamber upon the arrival of Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Reports say 20 of the documentation are reportedly out of the country. This followed his self-introduction on the floor and pledge to work to transform the country if confirmed as a minister. Senator Mbigi Rivers and over 5 million people of Rivers are in support of his nomination. The Nigeria Labour Congress NLC to avert the impending nationwide strike action called by the Labour Union. The NLC had given the federal government an ultimatum. The body is mobilizing its affiliate unions to ensure that the industrial action is successful and total. Called by the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC over the removal of fuel subsidy, sponsored by Senator Suleiman Kawu, NNPP Kano South. Kawu, in his lead debate, insisted the strike would have a devastating now where the House of Representatives Committee on HIV, AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria has pledged to make necessary amendments to existing laws to ensure the fight against malaria. Addressing a press conference today in Abuja, he said the committee will work with relevant stakeholders to enhance the fight for which they are made. Away from that, metal components on the bridge. Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Mahmouda Maman, stated this when he visited the bridge to ascertain the level of the recent vandalization of the metal components. He called on security agencies to intensify surveillance on the bridge to curtail the activities of the miscreants, who he said were after the metal components. In another development, President of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA Yakubu Mekiol San, today described the death of Supreme Court Justice Gentis Nweze as a huge loss to the Nigerian legal community. The late jurist was reported to have passed on July 30th yesterday after a brief illness. The NBA president expressed his condolences in a statement made available to newsmen in Lagos, signed by NBA National Publicity Secretary Habib Lawal. The NBA president expressed his condolences to the family of Nweze and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, as well. Away from that, the leader of the separatist indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu has returned to the custody of the Department of State Services (DSS) after being released on Saturday to be attended surgery. Meanwhile, the counsel for the IPOB leader is decisions and had been taken back into custody. Recall that the Federal High Court in Abuja had on July 20 ordered the DSS to grant Kanu access to his personal physicians. On the home front, Rotary International District 9142 has held the installation and investiture of its 7th district governor, Rotarian Akan Emma, in Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital. Our correspondent
Rotarian Nakanima, a media and public relations practitioner, a chartered member of the Rotary Club of Uyo Metropolis, who has served the club as a president in the 2014-2015 Rotary year and also held other offices in the club, has been installed as the 7th district governor. Speaking at the event, the former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, who was represented by Professor the beginning of a new district leadership for the continued motivation and guidance of Rotary Club, congratulated Rotarian Akanima for his success and contributions to the club.
I can only encourage you to continue along this trajectory. I'm confident that you will find the incoming Rotary district governor good works that you have been doing. Human and material resources will be required to effect resources required to fulfill your mission. It is in this context that I assure you of my support always, and that of my good friend, Governor Nyesom, concerted efforts to address the development challenges confronting developing countries such as Nigeria.
With a heart full of joy, we especially welcome all of our guests and Rotarians, many of whom have traveled across highways and oceans to be with us too. That marks the beginning of a new district leadership for the continued motivation and guidance of Rotary clubs in Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Cross River.
With capacity, they implore all Rotarians to continue to support the district governor in ensuring that the district witness more success.
And I want to also implore us to continue to support the district in what we are doing to ensure that smiles our district.
The newly installed Governor, Rotarian Akanema, while appreciating members for their support, promised to actualize the focus of the district by ensuring that Rotarians are inspired, influenced positively, and motivated to add value to the community.
Today for me is not a speech-making day, but to thank all of you for making out time to be here. To thank all of you for being part of this ceremony. And to thank the entire team members for the sacrifices that they have made so that today must be or is a reality.
And Spectrum Television, Tony Afia, among other dignitaries. In Uyo, Esther Otoyo, Spectrum News.
We move down to Africa, where Germany says it had suspended financial aid to Niger as well as development cooperation with the jihadist Houthi nation following last week's coup, and warned it could take further measures. A foreign ministry spokesman told newsmen that Berlin has suspended all direct support payments to the central government of Niger until further notice. The spokesperson added that the development ministry had also decided to suspend bilateral development cooperation. Still in Africa, civilian suffering continues unabated in war-ravaged Sudan. Report says bombs have been raining down for days on homes and civilian neighborhoods in Nyala, the capital of South Darfur State and Sudan's second biggest city, leading many to flee their homes. Men in displacement camps said many were out in the open during the rainy season. No organization could help them, and that they feared the fighting would reach them. In the south of the capital, Khartoum, residents say paramilitary RSF forces have ordered On the foreign scene, Kiev Emergency Services says 4 people have been reported dead following missile strikes in the central Ukrainian city of Kyiv, and the number of people injured has risen to 43. It noted that a rescue team comprising of 230 people and 57 vehicles are involved in the search and rescue for people from the 2 buildings damaged in the attack. The emergency service added that 3 people, including a child born in 2013, still on the through the Black Sea to world markets. The Ukraine grain deal was agreed last year and allowed around 33 million tons of grain to leave Ukraine ports, helping to stabilize global food prices and avert shortages. Recall that 2 weeks ago, Russia had refused to extend the deal brokered by the United Nations and Turkey, under which Ukrainian grain export Russia's pullout. Wheat prices have risen due to the disagreement. Still to come in the news. After this time out.
Business exists only to meet the needs of Vantage over your competitors for your desired return on investment with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
From the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN has revealed that currency outside banks rose to 2.26 trillion naira at the end of June 2023, 1.47 trillion naira between January, and mopped up from circulation during the period under review. Still in business, expenditure by manufacturers on alternative energy sources excluded 144 billion naira in 2022. This is according to data collated from the annual and biannual reports of the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN. According to the documents, the insufficient power supply from power distribution companies to power their factories. A breakdown of the data showed that manufacturers spent 25 billion naira in 2014, 59 billion naira in 2015. Looking at our health stories this afternoon, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has said that it seized at least 156,575 tramadol pills and other illicit drugs in 5 states and the FCT in the last 2 weeks: Anambra, Ondo, Lagos, and Ogun. He revealed that at least 156,380 pieces of suspected drug peddlers were arrested on the Gwagwalada-Abaji Highway in the FCT on Saturday, July 29. Still in health, the Kano state government had 44 local government areas of the state. The state epidemiologist Dr. Abdullahi Kwaramanta, who disclosed this in a chart and had recovered, had been discharged. The resurgence of diphtheria, according to him, may be linked to the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, which resulted in a lockdown and disruption of routine. Has ended their first World Cup with a 0-0 draw with Nigeria, who progressed to the last ranked side in Group B, qualified in second place at the expense of the Olympic champions. Reports say the Irish were already knocked out after defeats by Australia and Canada, but collected their first point at a World Cup in their final match of the tournament. Meanwhile, Nigeria will be facing the winners of Group D in Brisbane, which could be England if they draw with or beat China on Tuesday. To their partnership with Adidas, worth a minimum of £900 million, the club said United's latest partnership with the German kit manufacturer began at the start of the 2015-2016 season. It noted that the new deal will have an increased. Arnold said the relationship between Manchester United and Adidas is one of the most iconic in the world of sports. On our entertainment news, Nigerian megastar Burna Boy has achieved another notable feat with his latest single, Big 7. He has also broken the opening day record by allowing 24 hours to surpass the Nigerian record held by Them, which is set for release in August of 2023. Still on entertainment, Nigerian megastar Wizkid has recorded another giant feat for Afrobeat after selling out the Tottenham Stadium. Over 60,000 people reportedly turned out to watch the Grammy winner in his first stadium headline show in the United Kingdom. In the landmark concert, Wizkid performed songs from his last album, including several classic records that soundtracked his rise to the top of the industry. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do well to follow us on social media, TV News at 4. I am Uyai Anek, and thanks for watching, and do enjoy the rest of your day.